Hello, I'm Donna Walsh, Health Officer for the Florida Department of Health in Seminole County and your Healthy Seminole host. Today's show is sure to get your taste buds active. It's all about food. Stay tuned as we take you to see where you can obtain affordable and healthy foods, what you can do to keep your food safe, and learn about health department services that help you and your family stay healthy. As you've probably heard, the kitchen is the heart of the home. In the kitchen is where families and friends gather to enjoy meals and make memories. During holidays, potlucks, family reunions, and many other special occasions, food is a common denominator. It's important to include healthy options in every meal and make sure the food stays safe for all to enjoy. Here to talk more about healthy foods and what her organization offers is Renice Weaver, licensed dietitian from Hebney Nutrition Consultants. Welcome, Renice.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm wonderful, and you?
Good, good. Renice, tell us why it's so important to include healthy options for family meals.
When you're at home, that might be the only time when everybody's at the table. And it's not there to just have conversations, but to offer those healthy things like fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, because you don't know what they're eating during the day. They're doing grab-and-go items all the time. So this is the opportunity for the nutritionists of the family to get it right with the family all at the table at the same time. So dinner should be one of the most important healthy meals of the day. Not terribly heavy, so we won't overeat, but something that's healthy that all can enjoy.
So Renice, you mentioned a few items. Can you tell us a little bit more about some healthy options for family meals?
Well, you certainly want to make sure you got whole grains on the table, brown breads, brown rice, whole grain items such as that, lots of fruits and vegetables. That's always important. And protein is good as well, but we want to make sure our portions are accurate with that on the dinner table.
Exactly. Well, I know, all of those foods sound very healthy. It's sometimes challenging for folks to prepare meals with healthy foods. So can you give a few tips on what families can do to prepare those meals?
Well, with the preparation, is start with a list and get creative. Find out what everybody likes so you won't waste so much time preparing this beautiful meal and they say, well, I didn't really want to eat that. And then sometimes you got to create a different kind of list and sneak some things in and tell them later what you've done to the meal. So preparation is key, getting that list together, get everybody involved, even the kids, because we want to make sure they feel part of that meal preparation, because the engagement and the eating and getting them to try new items is really important.
So you're with Hebney Nutrition Consultants.
Yes.
Renice, can you tell us more about Hebney? What do you all do?
We're a nonprofit nutrition practice downtown in Central Florida, and we provide wellness strategies to communities of color who don't have an opportunity to have access to registered dietitians. Many times when a physician said, well, you got to lose 20 pounds, your blood pressure's up, or you got to work on your weight or your cholesterol, where do you go? How do you manage your diabetes? Who do you talk to? Who's going to be that health coach? We're filling that gap, and we're hopeful that we can provide wellness strategies to everyone in Central Florida that need resources from a registered dietitian.
It's a wonderful service. The health department is a partner with Hebney.
And we love the relationship.
As do we in our communities here in Seminole. We're so grateful. Actually, your Fresh Stop bus comes to our community. So. Yes. Can you talk a little bit more about Fresh Stop? Well,
Fresh Stop was a vision of mine over 4 years ago. I saw a research study done by Dr. Kennedy out of Louisiana, and she went around a neighborhood providing produce to populations that didn't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. And I said, how can we take this to the 21st century and make it something sophisticated, sexy, and fun? Right. And we created the Fresh Stop bus, which is a mobile farmers market on a city bus. So we repurposed a retired bus that was donated by Lynx Transportation Authority, and we gutted the bus out and put cantilevered shelves on it to mimic a shopping experience at the grocery store. And it goes out to all of the food desert areas in the Tri-County area to help increase access to fresh fruits and vegetables. When you find a community that is lacking of fresh items, we see a higher rate of disease, higher rates of diabetes, cardiovascular vascular disease, and even childhood obesity. So as a dietitian, my role is important for me to bring healthy options to those communities. It makes my job a little bit easier.
Absolutely. I visited your Fresh Stop bus. There's amazing options on that bus and friendly people to greet you. You also have a juicing bike, which is
Yes.
popular in the
Yes.
communities. So you can get on the bike and juice those fresh fruits and
your
veggies and
smoothies.
make your
And what I
smoothies.
love most about it is we could sneak those vegetables in. Sometimes the green smoothies have a lot of spinach in it, and the kids are drinking it, and they forgot that spinach was in it. They turn their nose up to it, but they're swallowing it, and that's
Exactly.
what I want.
Oh, that's awesome. So you mentioned a few of the communities where the Fresh Stop visits. Can you talk to us about the communities here in Seminole? I know we have a food pantry at the health department that provides some non-perishable goods, and we just recently asked Fresh Stop to come out.
We come out to the health department. We're establishing a relationship with Goldsboro, and we love to bring that bus back up here as often as we can. If we could do it up to 2 to 3 times a month, that's really important. Because if we're doing like a $5 grab-and-go bag, they can fill that bag up, and it's likely that the produce would last them up to about 10 days. And that's really important, so they can integrate a healthy option almost every day in that 10-day span.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. So Renise, in closing, what important message would you like to leave with our viewers today?
My claim to fame, I always say this statement: you can go to Popeyes or Kentucky Fried and you're eating good, but it's not about eating good every day. It's about eating well. And there's a difference. We could eat good Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, your birthday, but did you eat well? And we need to flip the script a little bit and figure out how can we eat at least well 350 days out of the year, and then leave those 15 days for happy things. And so it's not about eating good, it's about eating well.
That's an excellent message, Renise. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Parties, family get-togethers, holiday dinners, picnic with friends, and other gatherings where food is served are part of our everyday lives. To enjoy the festivities and avoid food poisoning, here are some food safety tips. Clean. Wash hands with warm water and soap for 20 seconds before and after handling any food. Wash surfaces such as cutting boards, utensils, and countertops with hot soapy water after preparing each food item. Rinse fruits and vegetables under cool running water and use a produce brush to remove surface dirt. Separate. Avoid cross-contamination by keeping raw eggs, meat, poultry, seafood, and their juices away from foods that will not be cooked. Consider using one cutting board for food that will be cooked and another one for those that will not. Cook. Use a food thermometer and make sure meat, poultry, and fish are cooked to a safe internal temperature. Bring sauces, soups, and gravies to a rolling boil when reheating. Cook eggs until the yolk and white are firm. For recipes calling for raw eggs, use pasteurized shells, liquid or frozen pasteurized egg products. Chill. Refrigerate leftovers and take out foods within 2 hours. Set your refrigerator at or below 40 degrees and the freezer at 0 degrees. Safely defrost food in the refrigerator under cold running water or in the microwave, never at room temperature. Don't taste food that looks or smells questionable. When in doubt, throw it out. Stay healthy and prevent foodborne illnesses every day.
There are many resources in the community which help provide access to food. Farmers markets are one of those resources. Today, we will learn more about the Goldsboro Farmers Market, which is in a designated food desert in Sanford, and the Central Florida Feed the Need Food Pantry, co-located within the Health Department in Seminole County.
So we're here at the Goldsboro Farmers Market, and joining me is Derek Thomas, the coordinator for the Goldsboro Farmers Market. How are you, Derek?
I'm doing good, wonderful, Myrna.
Welcome to the show. Tell us, how did this farmers market idea start?
Well, it started with the community through gardening. About 80 residents, they obtained garden boxes to grow their own vegetables. With that being said, they noticed that the community needed more fresh fruits and produce. So the idea was to use those boxes that the community was growing their foods in to sell at the farmers market. And so the idea of a farmers market sprouted up, and here we are.
Awesome. And why Goldsboro? How did it transition to this farmers market?
Well, Goldsboro is technically a food desert, and the food desert is where fresh fruits and vegetables are difficult to obtain with limited access to transportation. So with Goldsboro being a food desert, people sensed the need for a farmer's market, and we just opened up December 2nd, 2016.
So tell me what partners are involved.
We're funded through Orlando Health, and we're in a partnership with the City of Sanford, Goldsboro Front Porch Council, and Department of Health Seminole.
That's wonderful. So when can people come down? What are the hours?
Every Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. at the Westside Community Center, and the address is 919 Persimmon Avenue, Sanford, Florida 32771. The hours are from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Great. So what do we have here?
All right, this is our fresh produce provided by Three Chefs Kitchen. We have celery, carrots, potatoes, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, and cabbage.
Any other vendors that we have here? What others?
We have a wonderful assortment of vendors. I have Winter Park Honey. I have Cassandra White, who does designs and illustrations, arts and crafts. I have Celeste in the middle, who does knitwear. I also have Mellow Steve with Cajun boiled peanuts.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Derek, for all this information. Hope people can come by and take advantage of all this.
Thank you so much for coming.
Okay. And our next stop will be at the Central Florida Feed the Need Food Pantry. Joining me today is Regina Kelly from the Central Florida Feed the Need Food Pantry. Hi, Regina. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. And thank you for being on the show. Tell us a little bit of the history of how you started with Feed the Need.
Feed the Need started about 5 years ago. We started feeding the homeless out of a church in Sanford, and then it has grown into this huge event, and now we're at the health department with the food pantry.
That's wonderful. And how did that partnership with the health department start?
We came here to actually ask advice for another plan that we had, and Donna Walsh called us back and said, hey, I have this great idea. Would like you to see if you can run a food pantry outside the health department.
And it's been already a year.
It's been a year. September was a year.
That's wonderful. And how many people or how many meals have you served since you opened the doors here at the health department?
Since September 12th, we served over 30,000 meals, which equates to about maybe 600 people or so.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
So who can come and receive some of these meals?
The less fortunate, the homeless. I like going more toward the homeless, but here we do the less fortunate as well.
What are your hours of operation? When can people come?
Hours of operation are Mondays and Wednesdays from 4 to 5:30, and they can come once a week, either on Monday or Wednesdays.
So when people come here and they apply, they get their meal, what typically do they get in a bag?
They get 2 breakfast items, 2 dinner items for 4 people for a total of 16 meals.
Okay. Would you like to show us what they have?
Absolutely. This week's meal, every week it varies a little bit depending on what we get in as donations or what Second Harvest has for us. But typically we have maybe some cereal or oatmeal, vegetables of course, some pasta, and we try to put the meals together. As you see, we have the tacos with the Spanish rice and the beans. So that's about it. We try to make sure that they have the right amount for at least a day or two to hold them over.
That's great. Thank you so much, Regina, for doing this for the community, and I hope that people can come and visit your pantry and get a meal for their family.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any person living in Florida can be faced with losing power. Florida can have very active storm and hurricane seasons, as we have recently experienced. Losing electricity is uncomfortable, but it can also affect the food we consume and make us sick. Here to provide some tips to prevent food from spoiling when you lose power is Julie England from the University of Florida IFAS Seminole County Extension.
Thank you, Donna. Keeping your family's food safe during a power outage is really important because you can't tell just by the smell if it's good or bad. And one thing that's really, really important to know is if you're in doubt in any way, be sure to throw it out. But how do you tell if your power's been out, if your food's safe? Well, I like the really low-tech method of figuring out whether or not you need to even think about it. So if you come home from work one day and your lights are blinking, or if your power's out due to a storm outage, a really easy way to figure out how long your food's been sitting there in a refrigerator is a really simple method. So let me show you what I do at home. I keep a bag of ice cubes in my freezer. So I just throw some in, 3 or 4, whatever. And if you come home and the power's been out and you still have a bag of ice cubes, you know your power wasn't out very long. Or if they're slightly melted, you're still good. But if you come home and you've got a bag of water, or if you have a big solid cube of ice because your water melted and then refroze, then you know you need to start cleaning out your refrigerator. So let's talk some more about what we should know about with food safety in our refrigerator. Let's look inside of a refrigerator and see some of the things that we should take care of if we have a power outage. One of the first things to know is what's the temperature in your refrigerator. Some refrigerators have a built-in thermometer that'll tell you that, but in our refrigerator here, we don't have that, but we do have a food thermometer, and we keep the food thermometer, we don't leave it on the door because that tends to be warmer. So putting it basically in the middle of a shelf is the best place. And the key degrees that you're looking at for your refrigerators, you want to make sure that your food is below 40 degrees. Once your food is above 40 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours or more, you're going to have to start throwing some things out. So let's look at what we may have to throw out when it gets over 40 degrees. One of the first things that's going to go potentially bad are our dairy products. We've got yogurt, we've got whipped cream. Some other things to think about that you're going to have to throw out is soft cheeses. So if you have hard cheeses, for example, like cheddar cheese, they'll keep. You don't have to worry about them. Some other things that you'll need to get rid of are any kind of peeled vegetables. So or cut vegetables. So an example here, we have some cut vegetables that's got broccoli, baby carrots, and baby carrots are actually pre-peeled, so you'll need to get rid of them as well. Celery sticks. There's some whole cherry tomatoes in here. They're fine, you can keep those. But anything, any fruit or any vegetables that's been cut needs to be thrown away. If you have things like apples or oranges that aren't cut, they can keep. They'll be just fine. And you'll want to have those handy for healthy eating during power outage. All right, leftovers. Got leftovers over 2 hours, above 40 degrees. They're in the trash too. Garlic, the commercially packed garlic, it needs to go. Peanut butter. Peanut butter is great to eat during a power outage. Good protein source, and it will keep out of your refrigerator or in your refrigerator above 40 degrees. And then salad dressings. Depends on what type of salad dressing. So if you have something like ranch dressing, blue cheese dressing, over 40 degrees for 2 hours, it needs to go in the trash. But things like vinaigrettes, they'll keep. Also, mustard will keep, jelly will keep. If you have mayonnaise and mustard and it's warmer than 40 degrees for 8 hours or more, it needs to get pitched as well. Another really good tip keeping your refrigerator as well as your freezer is to keep them full, because when they're full, they hold the cool air better. So you may want to fill up your refrigerator with water bottles well before, so they're good and cold before the potential outage. Let's look at our meat. So fresh meat, if it's over 40 degrees for 2 hours, it needs to be thrown as well. But something else that you might do with your meat is if you know a storm's coming, you're going to put it in your freezer so it's going to be good and cold. So we would wrap it up in a plastic bag, but we won't, for example, here, but we'll just put it in there. And especially your freezer needs to be packed, because if you have it packed, it's going to hold that cold. And things that you can pack it with, you can just freeze, maybe a bottle of water. If you've got a food safe, this was iced tea was in this jug, we cleaned it out, put water in it. Don't do it with milk jugs because you may not get them clean enough. And you're going to want to have fresh water if you lose power, and especially if you have a well. So you can do that. You can actually just buy a bag of ice, or you can just freeze ice in containers and then start putting it in your freezer to help keep it cold. And of course, there's the ever popular ice packs. But if your power goes out, so for example, we come back from the power out and we've got our frozen chicken, how do you know if your frozen chicken's safe? Well, if it's still cold to the touch and it has ice crystals in it, you can refreeze it or go ahead and cook it. But if it's no ice crystals, it's got to get pitched as well. So pretty much anything that's in your freezer, if there's ice crystals in it, it's safe to refreeze. If you went ahead and froze some cheese and it's thawed out, you can still use it as well, whether or not it's got ice crystals or not. So those are just some everyday tips for things that you can do, and a great place for more information and charts on what to keep and what to throw out. Go to foodsafety.gov.
Other resources offered through the Health Department for Food, Nutrition, and Health Promotion are WIC and Healthiest Weight. Joining me today is Rhonda Mortimer, our Healthiest Weight Coordinator for the Florida Department of Health. Welcome, Rhonda.
Thank you for having me.
So Rhonda, tell us, what is WIC?
WIC is the Women, Infants, and Children program, and we are a supplemental nutrition program that provides basic nutrition education as well as breastfeeding support.
Okay, so Rhonda, how do folks qualify for the WIC services?
Well, WIC services, you have to be a pregnant woman, postpartum, a child between the ages of 0 and 5, and meeting nutrition risk as well as meeting the income guidelines. You also have to be a resident of the county that you're applying in.
I see. So tell us more about the WIC services, Rhonda. You mentioned breastfeeding and nutrition. Can you tell us a little bit more about each of those?
Yes, so the nutrition is basic nutrition education for women that are, again, pregnant or postpartum as well. We look at nutritional risk, and if the mom is breastfeeding, we provide her with that breastfeeding support with a lactation professional, either a lactation consultant or a certified lactation counselor.
Okay. At the health department, if a mom wants to breastfeed, are there facilities available for her to do that?
Yes, it's awesome that at the Seminole, Florida Department of Health in Seminole County, we do have a breastfeeding room, and it is geared for moms who are part of the WIC program, or if they are a mom that's coming to the health department to get other services, it's a room that's available for her to breastfeed in privacy.
Excellent, excellent. Rhonda, when should parents start teaching their children about healthy eating?
Healthy eating starts from birth. From the time that mom puts baby to breast, she is teaching and educating her child. So really it starts from that first time that that baby gets a meal.
Okay, and why is breastfeeding so important?
Breastfeeding is so important because it's not only the nutrition that the mom is giving to baby, but it's also those protective health benefits that mom is giving to baby through her breast milk. It's also learning and education for the baby because they're looking at the mom's gestures, they're learning, and those brain synapses are firing, and it is beneficial for baby to get that education through the feeding process.
So Ron, I know sometimes it can be challenging to provide nutritional snacks for children. Yeah. And so give me some examples of what parents can do to provide some nutritional snacks.
Right. We like to encourage eating the rainbow. So make sure your plate has protein, and also with the fruits and vegetables, just eating the colors of the rainbow. So that way you're getting all the nutrients from all the different food categories. And also making sure that the children are not getting calories from beverages, so drinking more water and making sure that they're staying hydrated.
Thank you, Rhonda, for that wonderful information. We'll be right back.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on line.
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
She took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Joining us again is Rhonda Mortimer, our Healthiest Weight Coordinator for the Florida Department of Health in Seminole County, to talk to us more about the Healthiest Weight program. So Rhonda, tell us, what is Healthiest Weight?
The Healthiest Weight Florida program is a program that's evidence-based, and it's basically looking at ways to influence the social determinants of health through those healthy places. The 6 focus areas are child care settings, schools, work sites, communities, as well as birthing centers and healthcare settings.
Great. Rhonda, tell me what activities are done each year in Seminole County to promote awareness of the Healthiest Weight program.
So right now we are partnering with the Goldsboro Front Porch Council as well as the City of Sanford and Orlando Health to support and fund the Goldsboro Farmers Market. As well, we partner with the City of Oviedo as well as the City of Sanford in hosting the Live, Work, Move annual 5K.
Well, I understand that the Department of Health has had a program every year called Maintain, Don't Gain. I think this is the 3rd year that it's been promoted. So tell me, what is Maintain, Don't Gain?
Typically, during the holiday season, Americans gain between 1 to 5 pounds. That doesn't seem like a lot, but really, a lot of times we don't lose that extra weight that's gained during that period. So by registering for Maintain, Don't Gain, it's a challenge, so you can get some newsletter information, and in those newsletters you get tips on healthy eating, trying to make a healthier, providing healthier meals, as well as healthy recipes. You can register or get more information by going to the Maintain Don't Gain Challenge webpage.
That's an excellent program. I know it's very challenging, whether it's holidays or birthdays, with all the wonderful food before you, to keep in mind that, proportions. We can enjoy food, but we just need to do it in proportions. So, very nice program. So, I have also heard about the Healthiest Weight Community Champions. What is that, and how can municipalities get involved?
Right, and that's a wonderful program that the Surgeon General, the State Surgeon General, looks at those municipalities and counties that have made healthy impacts in their communities. So they look at things like whether they have a employee wellness program, or making sure that their programs are geared towards healthy living. And so those counties can be awarded this designation each year based on a criteria that's set.
I know that Oviedo and Sanford have been recognized for the last several years.
Yes.
What is our goal for all 7 cities in Seminole County?
And you said exactly, we want all 7 cities this year, or in 2018, to apply and hopefully get that designation. It's a wonderful thing, and many of these programs or municipalities are probably already doing what it takes to become a community champion.
Thank you so much, Haronda, for all of this great information. We look forward to hearing more about all of these wonderful programs.
Thank you for having me.
Keeping food safe and adding more fresh foods to meals can help families and communities stay healthy and vibrant. We hope you enjoyed today's show and visit some of the great community resources provided. Thank you to our distinguished guest, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Donna Walsh for Healthy Seminole. See you next time.